All right, James Blake's ready. We don't keep him waiting. This is a big week for him. Let's bring in James Blake, former top fiver, former coworker of ours. There he is. James, good to see you. Got myself.
Hey, guys.
Tracy.
Look at Tracy. Tracy's ready to party. Love it.
She's always ready to party. She had the pink yesterday, the pink today.
Oh,
she's
my
ready.
Goodness. She's such a bad influence. Always. She's the troublemaker.
I'm learning from you, buddy. Learned it all from you.
Thanks for the time. Busy day, of course. How's life, James?
Yes. Yeah, it's busy. Very busy these days, but a lot of fun. It's really, every day is a new challenge. There's new fires to put out, but it's fun. If it lasted more than about 2.5 weeks of me being here, I don't know if I'd be able to survive, but these 2 weeks are definitely really interesting.
I know every time I've been seeing James Blake here on site, he's literally speed walking to wherever he's going. I'm like, James, just trying to get into two words. But maybe tell the fans kind of what it is to be a tournament director for a Masters 1000. Is it an all-year job where you're kind of getting the sponsors and just figuring everything out? How does it all work?
Yeah, well, I'm lucky. My team does a lot of the all-year stuff. But when you're on site and just before all the preparation and stuff, it's a little bit of everything. You're dealing with transportation. You're dealing with player services. Really, the biggest time constraint for me is the scheduling. I don't know if this is different nowadays than it was back then, but like all the requests that are coming in from agents and players, and then you have to take all of those and factor that in. But then you got to deal with the media. So we've got ATP media, WTA media, international media, and they want to all line up. And then you also have tickets. You got to think about what's going to sell tickets for the tournament. So it's just a lot. And and then every once in a while you do a little media thing and try to promote the tournament. And so there's just a little bit of everything.
I think that's something we were talking about before going on the air, was that some players want to play in the morning, some players want to play at night or early afternoon, and then maybe they're playing against somebody who wants to do something different. So how do you kind of finesse that to where you try to get the best for everyone?
Well, I think I'm better now at accepting the fact that by the end of the tournament, there's going to be a few people mad at me. And that's okay. Because I'm trying to make everyone happy, but you can't. You got to do what's best for, if you get, so many requests for this and it just makes sense for the tournament one way, you have to go that way instead of saying, well, this is someone I know and they really wanted this, or if there's a real reason. If there's a reason competition-wise, hey, I was just playing in Phoenix or I was just playing in Puerto Rico and it took me a while to get here. My flight was delayed. Okay, well, that's a real reason. If it's, I've got a dinner reservation, okay, well, that's not quite as important. So we got to weigh how important the priorities really are.
Yeah.
James, how helpful is it for you that you were a player, a top player, and that you've got to worry about the food and, as you said, the scheduling? And I'm sure there's so many pieces of the puzzle where certain players stay. I'm sure there's a few players that are more demanding than others. Maybe you want to stay in special houses. If you want to share any of those stories, you're welcome to. If not, just talk about welcome to divulge some secrets here. It's just us, James.
Yeah. See, look at Tracy, always being a troublemaker. Now, I'd say it does make a big difference, I think, being a player, a former player, with the fact that when I make these decisions and then I have to go in the locker room and explain them, I can tell them, I also try to be fully transparent. This is what we were thinking. This is why we made this decision. And I'm sorry it's not what you wanted, but this is the way we had to do it. And I think it gets a little bit more respect coming from the fact that, okay, you know what it's like to be in here. You know what I'm asking for. You've been in this situation. So hopefully you did your best to get there. And I've gotten a lot of respect from that. I remember a few years ago, I had to do that with Roger. Roger didn't get the time he wanted, and I had to tell him, hey, this is what we're doing, and we're moving it this way. And he looked at me and said, okay, no problem. And that's just, personally, that's his personality. But also, I think he got the fact that I fought hard for it, and it just didn't work with TV, or I forget exactly what the situation was. But going into the locker room, it gives you a little bit more credit. Although I am getting older, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do this, because I had one a couple years ago. I won't name who it is, but she said, well, what do you know about players? And I don't think you care about players. And then I went into WTA and told him, she's so young. I don't think she knows that you even played. So I'm getting to that point where I don't think people are maybe forgetting that I
number 4 in the world.
That I ever actually played. So a few more years, and I'm not gonna. The players won't remember that I even was actually out there before.
So wild cards for the tournament. Are you a one-man show on picking the wild cards, or do you have? How does that all
pick it out of a
work
hat?
for you?
Yeah. No politics.
No, I have say in it. I wouldn't say I'm the one-man show, because this tournament is also. Be perfectly transparent again. There is a business side to it. This tournament is owned by IMG Endeavor, so they want to be able to help some of the people that are clients, and so I have to make sure that we're weighing Americans, we're weighing what's best for fans, we're weighing those that we think maybe deserve it from past results. Take someone like Chris Eubanks, who's been to the quarterfinals here before. I know know he's struggled lately, but then you want to credit someone that's done well here and hopefully give them a chance. So, same with Martin Dam, who did well here last year. We want to give him a chance in the qualifying again. So there's a lot that goes into it. Sometimes it's someone that's been down on their luck. Sometimes it's a young player, and so we also are not totally beholden to just has to be all Americans. We had Federico China win his first ever tour level match here just yesterday, and that's exciting to me to see some of the young guys coming up, even if it's not Americans. It's just good for the game.
Yeah, so many great storylines. On serve here in the third set, 2-all Brooksby Safulin. That's a great story as well. 2019, the first year the tournament came to this venue, Hard Rock, and we know tennis players don't like change, and everyone complained early on, and you know everyone didn't want to say goodbye to Crandon Park. But like at the time, were you like, everyone just wait, because it really feels like it's settled in, and now it seems like everyone has so many positive things to say about the space. And are you kind of catching the groove here now, the 6th year?
Yeah, you're exactly right, because my first year, it was very topsy-turvy for me to start, because my first year was 2018. So that was the last year at Crandon Park, and I thought everyone would be excited to move here to Hard Rock. And when I think my first speech for the winners, I mentioned, okay, we'll be at Hard Rock, and it was raining down booze. I was like, okay, I won't mention that tomorrow in the speech. But then I really thought, okay, that's just the fans. They're set in their ways. And then the more I talked to players, the more they were really, really skeptical and nervous about it. So you're right, 2019 was a big transition, and players weren't sure, and actually we weren't sure. We did everything we could to make it as comfortable, but we were still learning what we could do with this facility. So it took a while, and then 2020, of course, we didn't have a tournament because of COVID. 2021 was also strange because we didn't even put up the stadium. We only had about 20 to 25% we were allowed to have in because of COVID restrictions. So then after that, 2022 was really the first year where it felt like, okay, now we know what we can do here, and we can really show off this facility. And since then, I feel like it's just gotten a little bit better every year. And just showing people around, when I get to give a little tours and stuff, I'm very, very proud of what we've done and the facilities we have and how great the players now feel here. So it took a while, but we've definitely hit our stride, and I'm really happy when I hear the players so happy.
And talk about maybe some of the player perks that are going on, because yesterday I was walking under, by the locker room and the player services, and I saw some puppies there. So some of the players were hanging out with the puppies. I saw an area where the players can get a haircut as well. So what have you added this year that maybe wasn't here last year?
Oh, well, the puppies were here last year.
They were here last year,
and that's such a great, I don't know if I can say therapy or whatever, but I've seen players lose a match, a hard-fought match, and then they see the little, crate of puppies, and they just get in there and they play with puppies. The match is forgotten.
I sat in there for 5 minutes. It was hanging out with the puppy before having to deal with Chiz.
I'll be honest, I did it yesterday too. My day was crazy, hectic. I jumped in there for 5 minutes. I was okay, play with some puppies, and it just makes your day better. But then, the haircuts, those are extended. We've had for years now the suites for the top 8 seeds, which they absolutely love. We actually added parking spots this year for those same top 8 seeds.
I saw that with the names.
And it's crazy the little things that they go. I
thought that was the coolest thing ever when I saw it.
The first thing Madison Keys said to me was like, I got a parking space. I'm like, you won the Australian Open. I haven't seen you yet to say congratulate you for that, and you're concerned more about the parking spot. But that's the little things they care about.
Just so they don't have to walk an extra 30 steps.
Exactly.
But hey, it's not like,
Exactly. Yeah. So we try to keep adding little things, and it's the beauty of having this whole stadium and the whole facility. We can add things. We got plenty of space, and so we've got a lot of stuff, and they love the field, being able to warm up and have tons of space with the little golf and cornhole and spike ball and what else? We got footballs out there and everything. And
I think one of the rooms that players like is the nap room. You can kind of go take a nap and lay out and stuff.
So we have 2 recovery rooms. Okay. We had one last year. We've added a second one up on the second floor. It's a space where it's just quiet. We've got the chairs and the Therabody, the sleeves and the boots and all those kind of things. So we've got, recovery has been such a big part of the game now, so we've added those, and the players seem to like those as well.
Nice.
I had a question about food, James. I'm kind of hungry right now. It's 4 o'clock in the
sounds
afternoon.
Like
Maybe that's why.
Weren't you just eating? You were just eating something a minute ago.
A little bit.
It's like
but
sneaking
how
in.
important I know that food is very important to the players, and players get very particular. So when you're, I don't know if you have anything to do with it, but how much of a spread and different types of foods do you like to have? And is there a little bit of competition between maybe you and Indian Wells, Madrid, Rome? You kind of go over there and say, oh, they have that. We're going to add that to our tournament as well.
No, we try not to have that kind of competition. I mean, we want to do the best we absolutely can, and I think that's tries to be the mindset. I know a lot of people will in the media, dangerous media will always pit them against each other. But no, I mean, we want what's best for tennis. So if we see something at Indian Wells that's working great and the players love, what we should do is we should bring it here. We want to make them happy. But we have tons of food options. I actually think I was just giving a tour earlier today and saying I want to say we probably have the biggest food area in all of tennis, bigger than the US Open, because we have a cafe downstairs. We've got a huge area upstairs where players. This is one of the busiest days of the tournament, and it doesn't feel crowded. So we're really, really lucky to have that. And the say I have to make sure that we have more options, because I've been at tournaments for a long time. You guys have all been at slams for 2 full weeks, and if you see the same thing every single day, you get tired of it.
Nuts.
Yep.
And maybe it's selfish because I have to be here the entire time, so I want to have a little more variety so that I'm not eating the same thing all the time. So we've got tons of variety. We've got the carving station, we've got the sandwich station, we've got sushi, we've got pasta. We make sure to have gluten-free pasta. I know there's obviously dietary restrictions. We've got pizza, we've got acai bowls, we've got smoothies, we got breakfast in the morning, we got omelets and everything. So we try to make sure we've got every different option, and if we don't have it, we'll try to get it for next year. If we hear something from players, that's the beauty of having this much at this facility, is we can make it happen for next year.
Dope. Is there a
So is that enough for you, Tracy? Can we get you
Good.
something?
Sounds like you win the award, James. You win the award.
I can vouch for them. The food is amazing. They have so many.
The food's
foods.
amazing.
It
That's
really
one thing
is.
all the players have been saying.
It really is great.
And the one thing I've learned from that 2019 year, first year here, how important it is to have good coffee as well.
Oh,
yeah.
Because the first year, I don't know. I'm not a coffee drinker, so I didn't know, but it was not very good. So we had to do an immediate backtrack, get rid of that coffee, bring in a whole new vendor, and get coffee, because especially the Europeans, they were not impressed by our coffee the first year. But now we've got it. We got good coffee, so that's important.
You don't drink coffee? Did you have any beverage to get you going, like pre-workout, or just Monroe, just straight powder to the dome?
I've been crushing the coffee.
No, I'm just. With a workout, I do the little electrolyte drink, and for starting the day, water or maybe orange juice. That's
one of the years you had Jimmy Butler's coffee.
We had Jimmy
here,
Butler's
didn't you?
Big
Was
Face.
that last
Yeah,
Big Face
that
last
was
year?
3 years ago, I believe. Yeah,
Okay.
and that was hit or miss. Some players really loved it. Some players really didn't. Apparently, again, I don't
brought
know.
Jimmy here. Jimmy was
brought
here.
Jimmy here. Yeah. Which we'll see if he's here again this year, because he obviously left on not so great terms from Miami. But the Warriors are playing the Heat
on Tuesday.
During the event. So we haven't heard yet. We'll see if we get that request, if Jimmy wants to show up again and see the reaction from the crowd. It might not be the same as it has been in years past.
So
We'll
what's
see.
more difficult, being a tennis player or being a tournament director of tennis players?
I would have to say dealing with the tennis players.
Yeah,
When it was just
dealing
me.
with them.
So is it high maintenance, or is everyone high maintenance?
No,
or?
they're not entirely. But when you're a player, you think about just yourself. You're incredibly selfish. That's just our nature when you're a player, and you don't realize it probably until you get outside of that, just how selfish you were. And I was just actually talking to someone about the scheduling, and he asked about what I used to ask for, and I was like, I don't know, I didn't think about that, but I absolutely never thought of the tournament, because I was thinking about singles and doubles, and how we have to make this work with this matrix, and singles players that are playing doubles. And he was like, did you play doubles? I was like, yeah, but I also never cared that the tournament had a tough time with dealing with, I have to play singles and doubles, and this makes it more difficult for you. I was just like, I wanted to play doubles, so I played, and they can figure it out. And now dealing with all those people, I'm the one that has to figure all that out with the rest of the team and the ATP and WTA staff.
Yeah, perfect example. 4-time major champ Naomi Osaka's on court 1. It's like the 4th show court, but you got Danielle Collins, you got Fonseca Teen, so that's one of those where
that's something I was also talking about. Is it's such a great problem to have, is that we have so many good matches today, tomorrow, into the weekend, that it's actually a little rough to think about who can we put out there. You have to put really great players. Alex Mickelson is a great story, and I think tomorrow he's on court 1 or maybe even court 2. I forget. I don't have it on top of my head, but I remember thinking oh man, we have to put him out there, because there's so many big matches that we can't move these people off of grandstand. You can't move this person off of Butch Buckle. So it's a good problem to have. I know there have been other years where it hasn't been the same, where I haven't felt like we've had these marquee matchups so early in the event. So I can't complain about it at all. The fact that we've got, just a wealth of matches.
What's the
James,
most rewarding thing? Or go ahead.
Sorry, I was
Tracy.
just wondering if TV dictates at all, because you have Osaka from Japan, you've got players from Australia, the time changes, or Paolini from Italy. does that make you put them in a certain time in the day?
Yes. Definitely, and so that's part of the scheduling meetings. There's the ATP media and the WTA's media is in there, and they have the representation of the Canadian, of the Japanese broadcasters, and of the European broadcasters.
That's a lot
Sky
of people
Sports.
in a room.
Well, they're representing them.
Yeah,
So, but
okay.
it's a lot of opinions in there. So some of those meetings take a long time, and it's give and take. And I've been really fortunate to work with when we've worked with ATP and WTA to be able to get a lot of compromise, and so we have to give and take. So wait a minute, this is really important for TV to have this match here, but it's also really important for the tournament to have this person on stadium or to have this going on because it's bigger for tickets for us. So we have to just always compromise. But TV does definitely play a role, and we want to make sure they're happy because obviously that's a huge part of our international sport and continuing to grow. And like I said before, we just want what's best for the sport. We want the tournament to grow, but we also want the sport to grow and get better. So TV definitely plays a role.
What's the most rewarding thing for you being a tournament director and seeing all these players here doing what they love at your tournament?
Yeah, I mean, for me, the most rewarding thing, I'm still, I think, once a player, always a player. So seeing when the players come up and they say they had a good time, they had a good experience, they're so happy they had this. And again, it's those little things, the little, presents we leave or the little swag bag that we leave, and they're really happy with that. And they leave here with a positive experience because realistically, I mean, I know back when you're playing, a lot of times it's only the one person that leaves with a positive experience, the one that's holding the trophy. But when you hear of people that didn't have that experience and they still had a good time and they still want to say thank you, we're looking forward to coming back, that to me is the most rewarding, that the players are appreciating the hard work that goes into putting this tournament on. And of course, that one person is always is the one that's very happy. You don't need to convince them to come back.
What was in the swag bag for the players this year that might be open?
Well, in the again with the coffee in the suites, we had their own coffee maker. There's a skincare thing. Skincare is big. I should do more of it, but I don't. But it's a bunch of like the lotions, the skincare stuff,
he's the man.
Moroccan oil, and of course we got to make sure to keep them safe. So we got the La Roche-Posay, the sunscreen, and we got some of the, like I said, the Therabody stuff.
Yeah.
There's I think this year there's like an eye mat, the sleep mask, but it's got the ones that help put you to sleep with the vibration, so one of those. So we got
a lot of things that players can look forward to.
Exactly, yeah. So we got some things that hopefully they get to enjoy.
James, it's so amazing how the players, they're making millions of dollars, but these little presents can make. I remember Stuttgart. We all stayed at one hotel, and every night I came back, and there was a present every day on the pillow. It wasn't
you're so
huge,
excited.
But it was like, oh, what's under the pillow today?
Yeah.
And it's so, James, more
Are you
presents.
telling James to do that?
They love those. But wait a minute, Stuttgart, didn't you also then win a Porsche too?
Yeah,
so
she got like 3 of them.
Winning cars.
So I got this little present, this little present. Oh, and then at the end I got this key to a Porsche. So that was nice too. Yeah.
Of course, you
Little
remember
things make a
Stuttgart.
difference.
We don't have those.
She would never
those
have
little
gone
Porsches
if it
were very-
wasn't for the little things.
Exactly.
James, we had Elliot Spizzeri on earlier. Last thing for you, and he was worried that one of his cuss words got picked up on a mic. I just want to make sure you're not going to find him. I don't know
I
if
saw
we can
that.
tell
I got to
him
go
anything.
find him. Make sure to keep that, wash that mouth out with soap. No, we've heard much worse. We've seen and heard a lot worse. So he was good. I love that he was so self-aware that he was like, oh, wait a minute, there might be microphones. He's used to playing a lot of challengers and some of the lower level events, so they might not have microphones there. But yeah, we got microphones, but he's okay. We'll let this one slide, I think.
Connecticut
And James,
boys,
before we
raised
let you
right,
go-
like
Yes.
you.
Yeah, another Connecticut boy.
Before we
right.
let you go, we got to ask you about Jensen Brooksby. Great to have him back on the court, and looks like he's playing some good tennis.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, good to have him back. I mean, it's so hard to miss that much time in the middle of your career and come back. And so I think it would take him a little while to get back into the swing of things, because even if you're practicing, no matter how much you're practicing for 2 years, to get back into that kind of mentality of competing and being at this level is really, really difficult. So happy to see him back, and hopefully he's going to have plenty more success.
Yeah, storylines galore. We appreciate you just taking time out of your day to kick with us and give us all the insight.
Pleasure.
And great job as always.
Thanks a lot,
Thanks,
guys.
James.
Thanks,
Bye.
man.
Great seeing you,
Appreciate
James.
Appreciate you.
Good to see you,
luck the
Tracy.
rest of
Take
the
it
way.
easy on these guys, Tracy.
Never.
She's always ready to party, huh?
Yeah,
Look at
don't-
her,
yeah.
always ready.
He's
Troublemaker.
so tough on me. He's so tough on me.